to Knitting Needles and Stems. I'm Carrie, I'm your host. Today is September 21st, 2025, and I just wanted to let you know that we do have a Ravelry group and a Facebook group, both called Knitting Needles and Stems. You can come over to either group. I would love to see what projects you're working on and your gardening or anything else that you want to talk about. We'll feel free to come on over and talk about it. I also have a Patreon group. There are 3 membership levels. Well, 4. One is free. One is $1 for like, $3 for love, or $5 you're amazing, follow your dream. So that's a good way to support the podcast. But the best way to support the podcast is to like and share the videos and subscribe to the podcast. Once we get to 100 subscribers, I am going to do a giveaway. I'll find some nice yarn to send to someone through random drawing. So look forward to that coming up soon. Today we're going to talk about works in progress, finished objects, knit-alongs, my patterns, and gardening. But first, what's new? We have had really hot weather the last few days. We went from fall to second summer, or maybe it was false fall that we were in, I don't know. But it was really hot, but we did make it out to our local pumpkin patch. We picked up some really cute pumpkins and a thing of mums. I've read that most mums are perennials that are treated as annuals, so I'm going to try to take care of these mums and get them to come back another year. So I'll keep you updated on that. And if you hear some ambient noise in the background, I am running the washing machine. We had to buy a new washing machine because our old one bit the dust. So I am a little bit behind on my laundry, so I have to keep it running. It's quieter than the old one was though, so maybe you won't even hear it. We're still working on upgrades to the house. We're moving my youngest, Reagan, into a bigger bedroom. Her bedroom, which is upstairs in our house, is going to become my craft room. And my craft room, which was previously in the basement, is going to be the room for Madison, who is my middle daughter, who lives at college and stays with her fiance, and will be moving out of the house next year when she gets married. So we're still working on those upgrades. Once the new craft room is done, I will be recording in the new craft room. So look forward to that too. So let's move on to works in progress. The first thing I'm working on is the Simple Cable Beanie by Maren Donka. And I'm making 8 of these all together for my local alpaca farm. This is hat number 7 of the 8, so I am almost done with all 8 of them. This pattern is mostly in 2x2 rib with the cable detail. You can see here the cable. So it's just it's a pretty simple cable pattern. And this one will have 10 rows of black, 10 rows of gray, 10 rows, and I'll continue on with the color blocking all the way up the hat. And then after this one, I just have one more to make for the alpaca farm, and I can wash them and drop them all off to her. So again, this is the Simple Cable Beanie by Maren Donka, and this is hat number 7 of 8. And this yarn is yarn from my local alpaca farm, which is Joyful Journey Alpacas, and the farm store is called Yarn Harmony Gifts. And it's delightful to work with. It's alpaca. This is alpaca merino blend, and it's just really nice to work with. And the hats are super soft. They're going to be so warm and comfortable for somebody this winter or whenever they decide to come in the store and buy them. The next thing I'm working on is Frigo by Christian Burkhardt. For this one, I'm using T&H Fiberwork Glitz Sock BFL Silk Blend in Eowyn. This is the colorway. And I'm using Let Me Spin You a Yarn Silk Mohair in Ballerina Pink. And I have one of the mitts completely done here. I made them a little longer. They're for my 14-year-old. And I made them a little longer than the pattern called for so that when she's waiting for the bus, she can stick her fingers inside and her fingers will stay nice and warm. And on the second glove, I'm almost to the end. I'm almost ready to start the ribbing at the top. So I've got the little thumb gusset here and the ribbing at the bottom. And they're so soft with that mohair. This mohair. And this is the T&H Fiberworks Glitz sock. They look so good together, and I love the way that they're turning out here. And she has a pair of socks that were made with the sock yarn, so she can wear the gloves and the socks at the same time and they'll match. Not that anybody usually sees your socks, but that's always fun. So again, that was Free Go by Christian Burkhard, using T&H Fiberworks Glitz Sock BFL and BFL Silk Blend and Eowyn, and Let Me Spin You a Yarn Silk Mohair and Ballerina Pink. The next thing that I worked on a little bit more was my Square Bear. This is by Yarnspirations Design Studio. And for this one, I'm using these little Lion brand, I want to call them minis, but I think they're actually called bonbons. There's little ones. And I have the front and back done. Front and back, and they match. And I have 2 arms and 1 leg. So he needs 1 more leg, 2 ears, and then I can sew it all together and embroider his face, and he's gonna be so cute. Hopefully I'll get this one done by the end of the month and it can go into our candy bear theme, but if not, next month is Cancer Ribbons, Cancer Awareness, and I'm actually hosting that month. I don't know if there's any cancer ribbons in these colors, but we'll figure something out. So again, this is the Square Bear by Yarnspirations Design Studio, using Lion brand bonbons, which is an acrylic yarn. Next, I'm working on the Helix Mitts by Sybil R. For these, I'm using hand spun from one of my friends that she spun for me many years ago, and it is a single ply yarn. And these mitts, this one is almost finished. I've got the thumb increases done, but I have not. This is where the thumb increases are here. This little section here that's a little bit wider than the rest. And then this is the thumb separation. Here you just do the 10 row short row pattern until it's enough to go around your hand, and you'll attach it there, and that'll be your thumb. And then we'll do some decreases and attach. It's knit in 10 stitches around, and you're attaching all the way as you go, and that's what makes this nice line here. And at the beginning we increased, we started an increase, so at the end we'll decrease in the same fashion, and there'll be a nice pair of fingerless mitts. It'll look about like that. So again, this is Helix Mitts by Sybil R, using hand spun from one of my friends that she gave to me many years ago. Next, I have a secret project that I can't tell you about. I started it a couple weeks ago, and I have until December to finish it because it is actually for a swap. And I can't show you or tell you anything about it because I don't want to ruin any of the secret, but I wanted to tell you that there is a secret project on the go. Then we have the Sea of Flames poncho by Nancy McElmurray. For this one, I'm using 100 Ravens, Yaksha, and Starry Night. This is Starry Night. And Apollo. This is Apollo. So what I'm doing is I'm starting from the outside with the nice purple color. I've started here. And I have a little bit of the lace pattern on there. It does call for beads, so I'm going to use this until I get to the end of the Starry Night, and that's when I'll join the Apollo to do whatever the remainder is. And for beads, I ordered some beads from Fire Mountain Gems. I got seed beads in this nice yellow color. You can see the gold. They're clear beads. Nope, they're yellow beads with the center is silver. I thought I got the clear ones with the gold in the middle, but I did not. And I got this nice purple. So for the top part, when we're in the purple and the gray section, I will be using the gold beads. And when we get to the yellow, the gold section, I will be using the purple beads. So they'll have nice contrast and they'll match with what we have for our colors for the poncho. So again, that is the Sea of Flames poncho by Nancy McElmurray. And I'm using 100 Ravens Yaksha and Starry Night and Apollo. And the Yaksha, I actually have the band here, and it is 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. That's where it gets the name. And the last thing I've been working on is my counted cross stitch. This is Day's End by Judy Gibson. And for this one, I'm working on this section over here. You can see I've almost got it all filled in with the water there, and then I can start working on some. This is about where the house is in the picture. So I'm almost done with the bottom half of it. And then I can start working on the top half. And I've been eyeballing a lot of different cross stitch patterns because I'm itching to start another one. I kind of want to do a short, like a smaller one that won't take me as long, so that way I can feel like I'm getting something done. But I'm able to see that I'm getting stuff done by doing the podcast every other week and seeing how much I've done in 2 weeks. So that does help. Thank you guys for helping me with that. Again, that is the Counted Cross Stitch, Day's End by Judy Gibson. Now let's talk about finished objects. I said earlier that I finished some hats, the Simple Cable Hat Beanie by Marin Nidonka. I finished hats 4, 5, and 6 of the 8 that I was doing. This is hat 4. If you remember on the last podcast, I had these same colors, but I had the color blocks, the 10 row color blocks. You can see the nice cables there. They show up pretty good in that semi-solid there. So this is hat number 4. And then I made hat number 5 in these nice autumn colors. And of course, this is the yarn from Joyful Journey Alpaca Farm and Yarn Harmony Gifts Farm Store. And hat number 6. So you can see the two side by side here. Same colors, different aesthetic with the smaller stripes on the one. Again, that's the Simple Cable Beanie by Marin Nidonka, using yarn from Joyful Journey Alpacas and Yarn Harmony Gifts. And the next thing I finished is my Muscle Burra. I've been working on that for so long. And thank you to my dear listener who sent me the rest of the yarn that I needed to finish this. This is Muscle Burra by Isolde Teague. And for this one, I used Knitology Sheen in the Titmouse colorway and Beach Bunny Yarns World Traveler in Espresso. So here is the World Traveler. You can see where it gets a little lighter at the top where I changed the colors, but I'm not worried about that. And then you can turn it the other way and have the titmouse, or you can wear it with the brim folded up because it's big enough to wear it that way. You can see. And you can have the brown as the accent, or we can do it the opposite way, which really makes you not be able to see the transition in the yarn. So this hat is going to be great for the winter. It's so thick, and when you have it folded up like this, you have 4 layers of wool over your ears to help keep them super warm in the winter time. And in the northern Wisconsin where I am, that's really important. So again, this is Musselburgh by Isolde Teague, using Knitology Sheen in the Titmouse colorway, and Beach Bunny Yarns World Traveler in Espresso. And for the Beach Bunny, he has changed the world. It's not World Traveler anymore, but he still has the fingering weight yarn. It's just called something different now, and I'm not sure what the new name is. The next thing that I finished is the Izzy Teddy Bear Dolls by Esther Braithwaite. For these, I specifically bought yarn. Usually for my bears, I use whatever I have left over from other patterns, but because like I said, I'm hosting the October theme for the Bears group that I'm in, I had to make some cancer awareness bears. So for these, I used Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted in Sweet Lavender, Dragon Fruit, Marina, and Arctic Pool. So I made 3 bears. I made 1 to represent all cancers, because the cancer ribbon color for all cancers is lavender. So here is the one for all cancers. I made 1 for thyroid cancer, which I am a survivor of. The cancer ribbon for the thyroid cancer is pink, blue, and turquoise, or teal. So there is that one. And then I made 1 for breast cancer, because I'm also a breast cancer survivor, and I made her with little breast cancer ribbons all around her sweater, just using a simple color work pattern that I made it. So those are the Izzy Teddy Bear Dolls by Esther Braithwaite, using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted in Sweet Lavender, Dragon Fruit, Marina, and Arctic Pool. Now let's move on to knit-alongs. The Project a Month KAL group is hosting for August 2025 the Helix Mitts by Sybil R. In that group, we always have a free pattern every month. If it's not a free pattern and it is a paid pattern, then the designer will be donating that for that month, and we encourage you to get them done. But we haven't had any designers that have donated any patterns recently, but that has been known to happen in the past. If you're a designer and you would like to donate a pattern to the group, then we would be happy to oblige with that. So just contact me or contact one of the moderators in the group, and we can get that taken care of. Otherwise, we just do free patterns. Sometimes we just have a theme, and you can use your own pattern. If it's a pattern that you paid for or that you've had in your library for a long time that is a paid pattern, you can enter it in our group. We just want to see what you've made. There's no real rules. We just want people to be happy and knit things together. And then if we have questions, we can ask and just ooh and ah over everybody's patterns or everybody's projects. So hop on over to the Project a Month KAL group. Also, today is the 21st of September. Tomorrow is the last day for the Yarniacs podcast Colors of Fall KAL. That one was going by the Pantone Colors of the Year and the Spring, Summer, Fall, and Winter palettes. You could pick any of the colors and use in your project for that KAL, and it ran from June 20th to September 22nd, 2025. Okay, let's move on to my patterns. I got some yarn in the mail to work on my mystery critter for 2026. This is a pattern that is a mystery that comes out every spring on April 15th as a celebration for the end of tax season. I usually have the pattern published on by April 1st, and then you have 2 weeks to get your yarns together and make this little animal. And this year, the animal is going to be so cute, and I got the yarn, like I said, and I'm really excited about this one. This is the 6th year. Yeah, the 6th year that I've done the mystery animals. And the other thing I've been working on is still my new shawl pattern, and for that one I'm using Leading Men Fiber Arts Show Stealer, which is their cashmere base, and I'm using Bare Necessities, Krampus, and Poison Apple. Okay, let's move on to gardening. As you know, I didn't do much in the way of gardening outside this year. I did use my Mr. Stacky to plant some herbs, and some of my herbs did better than others. But with the weather having changed and then got hot again, but it had changed, and I was like, okay, we have to bring these herbs in and get them taken care of. So what I did is I harvested all of my basil and oregano. I put it in the dehydrator at 125 degrees, and because I decided to do this on a rainy day and it was rainy and wet and all of the herbs were wet, it took 9 hours to dry these herbs. So this is what I got for my basil and oregano. I bought these little jars to put them in. They have nice little shaker on the top, or you can open that for pouring. And I use a spice grinder or coffee grinder to grind up my herbs when I'm ready to dry them and put them away. So this is the basil and the oregano. And then I had quite a bit of peppermint that I just added to what I had left of my chocolate mint from the year before. Probably about half of this was chocolate mint, and about half of it's the peppermint from this year. So this will be delicious on some salads or anything you want to add a little minty twist to. I also didn't harvest any, but I learned that with dill and cilantro, you want to plant a lot of it because each stalk does not produce a whole lot of herb. So I have some dill seeds here that are drying so that I can plant them next year. And I have quite a few of the cilantro seeds. Look how big the cilantro seeds are. That was kind of surprising to me, how big they are. But I'm gonna try bigger pots for those next year with several seeds spread out in the pots, so that way maybe I can get some of those to dehydrate and save. We also visited a friend's farm yesterday, actually, and they have so much produce, and she was telling me how she takes care of all of it. We actually got 2 buckets of apples off of their trees, and so I've learned some things that I want to put into practice next year for when we have our garden. So hopefully I'll have a better garden next year, and I'll be able to talk to you about more of my outside seasonal growing stuff. Well, I think that's all that I have for you today. So until next time, keep doing what you love. Bye.